1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, be of sober spirit, be on the alert. For your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour, but resist him firm in your faith. All right, so here's our part. Okay, here's what we do in this situation. First of all, when it says be of sober spirit, it means, guys, let's get serious about this. All right, while we're trusting God with our anxiety, we got to get serious about the battle. And he turns around and he says we have to be on high alert with this guy. One of the things we have to get a hold of is kind of like a lion. If a lion is chasing the prey, us being the prey, one of the things it tries to do is get it separated from everybody else. So the very fact that you're here at church at all the locations right now, Hebrews 10:25 talks about how key and how important it is that you're doing that. And so you're winning right now simply by being here. Another thing is he's used the same tricks that he actually used all the way back with Eve. Think about these tricks. It's still lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and boastful pride of life, which means what I want, when I want it, and forget about God. So here's the dude. So what is he like? Check this out. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, he's called the God, little g, he's called the prince of the power of the air there. In 2 Corinthians 4:4, he's called the God, little g, of this world. 1 John 5:19, we do this one all the time, the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. In Romans chapter 12, it says that he deceives the whole world. In John 8:44, Jesus said he was a liar and a murderer from the very beginning. In 1 Corinthians and also in Ephesians, it says he schemes against us all the time. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 13 through 15, it says he actually presents all this bad stuff as an angel of light. He says all the bad stuff that he does is actually the right stuff. Guys, we see that in all over our society. We're being told that things God says is an abomination is actually the right thing, even Christian thing to do, the exact opposite of what God says. Now, I want you to think about this. This is weird. We have to get into our mind what it's like to be the prey, meaning he's the predator, he's coming after us. And so get a sense of how we need to fight because, and I want to give you an illustration, this is what being the prey looks like. Guys, there's nothing good about that picture. That's us? We're the prey? Yes, this is what it looks like, and this is the dude that we're dealing with. So the question is, okay, so how do we go through the process of winning them? I want to give you a little more expansive view of this, if I can, because it uses the same, you'll see the very same statement that's made at the beginning of this. But in James chapter 4, I want to show you this in verses 6 through 8. Here's the statement. It says, therefore it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Here it is. Submit, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Now, guys, what I want you to get a hold of is God said, here's how it works. He says, I can tell you how to deal with being the prey and Satan trying to come at you. He says, first of all, submit yourself, therefore, to God. And the idea of submit yourself to God is very, very important here because it says the devil will flee from you. The devil doesn't flee from us, guys. It's the idea, I don't know if you felt this way when I was growing up. I thought my dad was the strongest guy ever, man. He could whoop anybody. And the idea is basically stepping behind Dad and saying, oh yeah, get him, Dad. Get him, Dad. And you're hiding behind Dad. That's the submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Because he flees from God. Right? That's the idea. But I want you to think about the battle. Where we fight the battle, first of all, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. All right? It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but they are divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. For we are destroying speculation and every lofty thing that's raised up against the idea of God, and we're to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Guys, think about that. It says that we learn to fight that battle, and the battle that's there is a mind battle of truth, of right, of morality, of God's principles in the real world. Then remember Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not, and think about it, we can't fight this on our own. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and powers and world forces of darkness and spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. Guys, how are we supposed to fight against that? This spiritual warfare going on. And that's why we submit to God. I love this one story in the Old Testament in 2 Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 15. This huge army is coming at this guy. And it's really interesting because the prophet looks over him. He says, do not be afraid and do not be dismayed because of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours. The battle belongs to God. Guys, when we begin to understand that, it changes everything. Think what that means. Now remember what he said at the end then. He turned right around. So God's fighting this battle. He says, stay firm in the faith. Guys, if you ever wonder why we always talk about facts behind the faith, the whole Hebrews 11:1, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Faith is being sure of what you can prove so you can be confident in what you can't. It's because we have to stay firm in the faith. But then we also have to recognize something, and that is this. Guys, this battle, it's over. The battle is over. 2,000 years ago on the cross, God ended it. It's over. He's already lost. He just needs to take as many people to hell with him as he possibly can. And in 1 John 4:4, it says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. We've got this, guys. If we stay on God's team, keep him on ours. Remember this. In Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, it says the devil, the beast, the false prophet, they're all thrown into hell to be tortured forever and ever. It's a done deal. We get a chance to be on that winning side, but here's the deal. We get God on our side with humility, the balance we need to have, and we watch as God lifts us up. We provide for the anxiety that's there by learning to just lean with God and know that we're going to succeed. Let's do that this week.